I love you guys. I'm going to put up a quick poll. Have you been through trauma? Now, the reason, like, the Lord put this on my heart today, honestly. It really feels like the Lord had put this on my heart, this message. Because as somebody who has survived a lot of bad stuff, right? I have survived a life of hell. I have trauma in almost every single region that you can have trauma. You know, I've had people assault me. I've had people, beat me and manipulate me, use me, try to kill me, and everything else, right? I have been through so much trauma and so much pain, but I want to share the victory that I have over it. Because those things that have happened to me, I have watched many people struggle the rest of their lives or even die carrying that trauma, carrying that pain, right? And they are just stuck. And that's something I don't want to see. You know what I mean? I want to see people survive and overcome. I want to see them go through these trials and tribulations and come out the other side stronger. You know, because each of us have gone through some form of trauma one way or another, and it's all relative, right? Like, just because you don't have people trying to kill you like I do, right? Like I did before. Just because you don't have people trying to kill you, or you have people drugging you and then R-wording you, right? Well, that doesn't mean that you didn't go through hell yourself. You know, each of us has a different trauma. And I'm going to start from, like, I guess the beginning, right? So, guys, just so you know, this is a very testimonial message this morning, and it can get very dark, okay? I just want to let you guys know. So when I was a baby, right, supposedly my mother walked in on my grandfather, like, touching me or something of that effect, right? And it's not something that I can recollect. It's not something that I remember, like specifically. But you want to know something? Subconsciously, it carried into my body. Because when I'm anxious and I'm nervous, before I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I would constantly grab my crotch area. And I didn't know why. I didn't know why that every single time I became anxious or whatever it was that I was doing that. You know, I also didn't understand that why, as a 5-year-old kid, I had no self-esteem. I didn't love myself. You know what I mean? And even though I was fun and full of energy and whatever else, I had these anxiety issues, right? I used to bite on my shirt like this, and I would suck on it. I would just keep biting my shirt and sucking on it like a coping mechanism, you know, sort of like a baby in a bottle or a binky, right? And it's because I had this underlying trauma that I was doing these things and I had no idea. You know, I went through a good portion of my life not understanding why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And that's something that's very common, you know. A lot of people that have stuff happen to them when they were younger and they black it out or whatever, right? And then they have these anxiety issues. They have these depression issues. They have, you know what I mean? These self-love and self-esteem issues. Because someone had inflicted a deep wound inside of them, right? Somebody had inflicted a darkness inside of that person. And whether they knew it or not, that darkness begins to grow. You know, if you don't get over your trauma, what happens is your trauma gets over you. Your trauma starts to become the thing that controls your life. It starts to become the thing that owns you, right? And something that happened years ago feels like it happened yesterday, or even worse, today. And there's people that are constantly reliving these traumas, right? Because they have not gotten over it. They have not been able to overcome what they were going through. And I'm going to give you guys a couple ways of how you do that, okay? So ultimately is forgiveness, right? Understand that God has forgiven you, that he loves you, and that no matter what you have done, that when you seek him with your full heart, that he forgives, right? Dan says you need to read the Bible and pray to Jesus. Amen to that, 100%. That's your solution, 100%. Jesus is the only thing that could give you deliverance, right? Because even though mentally I was able to overcome the trauma, like I was able to use mental gymnastics in order to overcome the trauma I went through, right? It's that love and forgiveness from God, from Jesus, that ultimately allows me to move past this pain, right? Because if I wasn't able to forgive the person that hurt me, if I wasn't able to move past it and realize that, hey, maybe they are just a screwed up individual who suffers from darkness and sin, and what they do, right, is they spread that darkness because they are inflicted with it. Because my dad said something that was very wise. He said that hurt people hurt people. So people that are hurting will go and they will hurt other people. And that's exactly what has happened to me. Is that I've been hurt throughout my entire life by other people who were hurting themselves. Amanda says, my grandmother gave me sleeping pills when I was little so my grandfather could, oh Lord. My mother would let me stay with him. My grandfather yeah, see, it's messed up. And that's the other thing too, is like they will gaslight you. Your abusers will gaslight you. They will convince you that it's you that's the problem. They will convince you that it's all in your head. They will convince you that you are the one who is undeserving and who is wrong, right? But that's a lie that abusers tell you. Because if an abuser can get the person they abuse to admit that they are not being done wrong by them, right? Well, then what it does is it affirms their abusive behavior. And what happens is if you let it go once, they're going to do it again and again and again and again and again. Like if you have someone that like beats you, right? Say they hit you and they badly injure you to the point where you end up in the hospital, right? You know, you forgive that person once, right? And you say, listen, you were going through some darkness. I don't know what it was that you were going through, but I could tell that you were struggling and that you took it out on me, right? But if it happens again and 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 again, right? What you are now doing is you are giving them permission to cause this trauma towards you, whether you realize it or not. And you might think that you're just being loving or understanding or kind, but there's a part of you that fears losing that abuser. Absolutely. This God bless fool. Yeah, absolutely, Devontae. But that's the thing, is these abusers, they want to be vindicated. They want to feel like the abuse that they did to you really was not a big deal at all. They want to feel like you were the one that brought it on. So even if they accept that they abuse you and they're not gaslighting you on the fact that it happened, they will gaslight you on why it happened. You know, I've had instances where all I was doing was being honest and telling the truth, and I made the other person flip the hell out. It's like demons just manifested, right? Because that's what happens is demons do not like the truth because they are exposed by the light. It's the same thing with trauma, right? You put light on trauma, you put love on trauma, and it heals you. That is what heals trauma, is love. That is the only healer of trauma, is love. And it's ultimately the love of God that heals that trauma. You know what I mean? It's that pain and suffering that we go through that makes us seek a healer or something to heal it. But here's the thing that many of us do, is that we take the trauma that we have and we want to self-medicate, right? So instead of going to God and giving ourselves up to him and saying, hey, Lord, please take this burden from me. I don't want to carry it. Please allow me to forgive my transgressors. You know what I mean? What they do is they start seeking other things, right? A lot of people that are victims of trauma end up being drug addicts, unfortunately. And that's just a sad natural pipeline of affairs, because what ends up happening is somebody has major pain, right? So if you have major pain, well, then you need something major to numb that pain. You need something major to remove that pain. But the only thing that could truly heal you from that pain is God. It's Jesus. Because even if you used certain meditation techniques or whatever it may be, right? So I'm gonna tell you something. So there's this meditation technique. It's called the no mind technique. And what this technique does is it has you clear your mind of every thought so you don't think about anything. And then you spend your entirety of that time that you're meditating just trying to think about nothing. So you are using everything to focus on nothing, right? But the thing is that's a lie. It's a band-aid, because the moment that you stop that meditation, what happens? Those thoughts come back. Those traumatic feelings come back. Those memories, those visuals, whatever it may be, those things come back. Amanda says, yes, so true. I'm okay. God has freed me. You never actually think about it anymore. Amen. Yes. And that's the thing. When you are truly freed from trauma, it no longer has a hold on you anymore. It no longer binds you, right? Because trauma is like chains, right? They can restrain you, but it only works if you allow that lock to be on the chains, right? If you unlock the lock, then the chains fall right off. It doesn't matter how many times those chains are wrapped around you. If you are able to remove that lock, that bondage, that thing that is stopping you from healing, well, then it doesn't matter how many traumas or how many bad things you have gone through, you can get healed of it. You can be delivered of it from Jesus. And I'm saying this from a place of truth, a place of honesty, a place of authenticity. Because I have lived it, I have experienced it, and I have went through it. I wouldn't be telling you guys this for no reason. You want to know something? Because I have seen what trauma does to people. I have an ex-girlfriend who I love very much, still love, and would want to marry, but it's another story. But she has gone through a lot of trauma in her life. Losing her mother at a young age, having sexual stuff happen to her, I guess. I don't know. She was beaten, and everything else as well. And I don't understand. The crazy thing is, like, someone like her allows that trauma to consume her. She doesn't allow that pain to leave her, because either she's comfortable in that pain, or because she feels like nothing can heal it. But you cannot receive healing if you don't believe that there is healing to be received. Let me repeat that. You cannot receive healing unless you believe that there is healing to be received. No, you didn't miss it, GT. We're still going. Only 14 minutes in. So you're going to have trauma in your life that you have to go through. And it might be from relationships. It might be from the way you grew up. Whatever it may be, right? But I want you to know that there is freedom from that pain. There's freedom from that trauma. I'm going to tell you how I got over it. So I was touched at a young age. I was molested as a baby in diapers, right? Then what happened was, when I was 5 years old, I was exposed to lesbian porn they were supposed to be putting the movie Flubber on with Robin Williams. And what ends up happening is that they took the movie out of the VHS, which was a tape, a videotape for guys that are too young, a VHS tape, right? And they took it out of the case and they just popped it in the VCR and didn't look at it. Well, apparently the older brother, right, was watching a porno and he put it back in the Flubber case. So for about 45 minutes, I'm 5 years old and I'm watching these lesbians have sex with each other. And at first, I was very confused. I remember being very confused and I was like, what is going on? Why are they doing that? I'm like, why are they eating each other? I said, they're eating her alive. And then I was like, um, and then I was like, this is a very long commercial, right? Shout out to Dan for subscribing. Amen. I didn't see that. But I was like, this is a very long commercial. And then my parents, I remember my mom and my friend's mom walked in the room, right? And they were like, oh my God. And by then it was already too late. I have had a lust sexual demon placed inside of me at a young age. You know what I mean? My whole life has had sexual assault or misconduct or whatever. And it's terrible. So a couple years later, I'm probably at the age of 9 now, right? And I'm going through this house and they have this cool like bookshelf. And if you go to the bookshelf, you can actually open up the bookshelf. The bookshelf, like a secret door, would swing open. Now, what 9-year-old would not, like, what 9-year-old kid wouldn't want to explore a secret entrance in a house, right? So I go and I start exploring the secret entrance in the house. I open up the bookcase. I'm all excited. I'm having fun, right? And then I open up the next set of doors. I come through the other side. And then I'm watching this girl, this woman, probably in her early 30s or something like that. And she's getting literally pegged from both sides. And then there's another dude like touching his thing. And I remember seeing that and being traumatized from that as well. And I remember closing the bookshelf and just backing out into the tunnel. And I was literally shaking. I was literally crying. Because there's something tragic about the innocence lost from a child. Right? Isn't that a tragedy? The innocence lost from a child? That's why I'm upset when you see these 12, 13, 14-year-old girls and boys that want to grow up. Stay a kid. Stay innocent for as long as you can. Because I didn't realize it was this trauma that would lead me onto my journey through life, right? So it's because of this sexual trauma, right? Well, now fast forward about 2 years later. I'm now 11 years old and I'm addicted to porn. I'm addicted to masturbation. I am literally overcome by lust and not even understanding it fully because I'm 11 years old. Well, there was a secret room, Devontae. So there was like a side room. So there was like a main bedroom, right? Like a big master type bedroom. And then there was the hidden door and it went through the other side into like an office type spare bedroom room where there was just like a bed. It was literally a small room with a bed. It was just good enough to have privacy for this woman to have promiscuous sex. But yeah, it scarred me, right? It was something that I witnessed that put a scar on my soul. But those scars can be healed through Jesus. But here's the thing, what happened, right? So now I'm 13, 14 years old. I got girlfriends in high school. I'm having plenty of sex, right? And in fact, I'm having sex every single day that I can, practically. So every single day, like at least 5 days a week, I would have my girlfriend come over. And we would have sex for like 8 hours. We would have sex from 3 p.m. to about 12 p.m. And then I would drive them home or whatever it was. They get picked up. Devontae, I don't know. I was just a little kid. It was just some random person at a party. It wasn't anybody I knew. My parents, they went to a party. It was a bunch of like Czechoslovakian people, so it was like a bunch of European people. You know how European are; they're very sexually open and free. Um, but yeah, so I became an addict, right? And that addiction stemmed from my trauma. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that there is a lot of people out there who are addicts in one way or another, addicted to sex, addicted to drugs, addicted to gambling, whatever it may be. And a lot of that stems from trauma, right? They are trying to self-medicate with this addiction. They are trying to take that feeling and they're trying to push it under, right? By adding euphoria to the mix. Because this is the thought process of someone that has gone through trauma or someone that's suffering. If I feel euphoria, then I feel good. Then I feel happy. Then I'm okay. But what happens is when you start living your life like that, is that the moment that the drug starts to drop down like this, you have to add it back in to get your levels back up. And then it becomes this constant cycle of chasing these highs, right? And then experiencing these lows. GT Player says, bro, I saw a YouTube short in a house. A guy lives alone. A demon came in the house. The guy said the name of Jesus Christ, and the demon ran crying. Exactly. That's exactly what happens. And you want to know something? When you bring up the name of Jesus, things will manifest around you. I was worshiping in the streets yesterday, and a bunch of people just start screaming the F word. You know what I mean? And they were from a different house, and it's like, I doubt they could have even heard my music. It's just they could feel the goodness of God coming off of me. So when you're going through these traumas, right, in your life, they are going to scar you in ways that have ripple effects. They are going to set your path for you. And everyone is different. But if you think that God has you go through these struggles, has you go through this trauma for nothing, well, then that's a lie. Because the reason why you suffer this pain, the reason why you go through these things, right, is so that you can share your testimony with someone else. So that you can give them hope. Because the thing is, human nature, right? Human nature is never going to change. Humans are always going to be pieces of garbage, right? You'll have some good ones. But on the whole, humans are always going to be garbage. And that's why that you need a God. That's why you need Jesus. Because if you think that you can overcome your traumas all on your own, you are wrong. Because I know a lot of people that thought they overcame their trauma until something happens. And then it comes back. But you want to know something? I had those same experiences. Amanda, you are a strong woman. Amen. So, there was a time in my life when I intellectually overcame all my trauma. I didn't think about it. I was like, you know what? Screwed up people do screwed up things. And I chalked it up to that. And I just tried to forgive based off of based on Father, they know not what they do. And Father, people are just evil sometimes, right? But it wasn't until I accepted deliverance from God. It wasn't until I accepted God's love fully that I was able to be healed from that trauma. What are you talking about, Devontae? Screw what? God can change you 100%. I am a living testimony of that. Do you not understand that I had track marks that went from my hand up here? Look, they went from my hand over here, track marks from shooting up with needles. A straight curved line, like literally no breaks. Just curvature of my entire vein all the way up my arm into my shoulder. I used to literally have to be having sex with a woman every 2-3 days or I would have a mental breakdown. Because I was so addicted to sex, to lust, to making women orgasm and feel good because I could quantify, right? I could quantify something based on a reaction. You know what I mean? It was a way to make myself feel good, even though I was feeling bad, possibly from trauma that I wasn't dealing with, right? So it's like I could base my happiness or I could base the amount of how good I feel, right? Based on the amount of orgasms I gave the girl. So it's like I started basing my ego, I started basing my happiness, I started basing everything on that lust. And the only reason that lust came in the first place was because I had trauma. GT Player says, TJ, what coffee is your favorite? My favorite is hot chocolate. My favorite coffee is black coffee, honestly. I used to like coffee with cream and sugar, but then I started drinking it black in jail about 6 years ago. I like a really dark roast. So like the darker roast, the better with the coffee. And I like ones that have like cocoa type flavors or whatever. But yeah, you know, you can't allow trauma to consume you because that's exactly what trauma does. It consumes, right? So the way you get over trauma is forgiveness and accepting God's love, right? That's number one, forgiveness and accepting God's love. Two, right? I looked at it from a psychology standpoint. You have to realize that people are screwed up, that they are battling demons that you cannot see. And a lot of the time that these people that are causing the trauma, they are battling something so freaking dark and demonic, right? That you have not even half the idea of what they are battling. And I have some empathy for my abusers now. And it's not empathy for them if they have crappy lives or whatever, but I have empathy for the fact that they were hurt and they were damaged and they were traumatized because there's something called the vicious cycle, you know, of abuse. GT Player says music, song, drugs, sex, and yeah, secrets are bad. Yes, exactly. Hot chocolate coffee sounds like an extreme stomach kill. Yeah, if you mix hot chocolate and coffee together, like which we've done it in jail, we call it a Cadillac. You take hot coffee, you take like a candy bar, like a Milky Way, and then you mix it in your coffee with some cream. You're good to go. They call that a Cadillac. But yeah, that the people that cause the trauma usually have trauma themselves. So it's good to look, you know, from a frame of reference that always isn't your own, right? So it's like if you look at humanity through the eyes of God, well, we are all guilty. We are all sinners and everything else, right? No one is innocent. But if you look at your abusers, right, through their lens, you got to start thinking about what kind of sick, twisted stuff has happened to them in order for them to do this to me. Yeah, freedom when you forgive, then can let go. Exactly. That freedom does come from the forgiveness. So accept love from God, right? Know that he loves you and accept it. Allow it to heal you. Forgive. Forgive the people that have harmed you. Hi, Kylie. How you doing today? It's good to see you. God bless you. I hope Kat knows I really do love her, though. I do want her, but yeah, that's the thing. In order to get over trauma, you have to allow God's love to fill you. You have to forgive yourself, and you have to forgive the people that have caused that pain towards you. Because the reality is that if they are causing you some sort of trauma, be it physical, sexual, mental, whatever, right? They most likely are not a healthy or well-balanced individual. They are most likely struggling and suffering ways that you can't imagine, right? You know, I've been in relationships when the person had trauma and they were going through that trauma and they had taken that trauma out on me and then causing me trauma. What's up, Max Sauce? How you doing? And I'm glad you're doing good, Kylie. But so accept the love, give forgiveness, intellectually realize that people are screwed up in this world and they're going to do screwed up things. And there's nothing you can change about that. You know, that's what happens. There's mental illness. People have spiritual afflictions where they're just living in sin or living in depression, pain, anxiety, suffering, right? They have no meaning in their life. They feel empty. So then what they do is they start causing trauma towards others, you know, looking for fulfillment. You know, because that's the thing. You think that these people are just harming you because it's something that you did. But in reality, it has nothing to do with you. You just have to be, you just happen to be the unlucky victim of that trauma, of that abuse. Are you serious, Kylie? That's messed up. Wow. Can you call her? Maybe not best to talk on your live stream. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't think she's really trying to talk right now either, you know. My ex got upset just because I wanted to essentially, like, I don't know, maybe I didn't word things correctly, but I basically just wanted to say, hey, listen, I don't mind hanging out with you. I want to be together. I want to possibly get married and stuff. But it's like, if you're having sex with other guys, or you're hanging out with other guys, or you're just trying to feel out whoever's gonna like be the next dude, well, then I want no part of that. It's either you have faith in me and faith in us that we could turn it into a beautiful relationship, right? Or you just walk away from me, you know, because like it has nothing to do with control. It has to do with the fact that I want a moral woman who is walking towards the same goals as me. And I'm sorry that you got cheated on, Kylie, for real. You want to know something? The reason why men cheat is because they either think that they can get away with it and they are fulfilling a fleshly need, right? Like they are just trying to get off. But other times they feel like maybe they're not as in love as they thought they were. And you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, right? Like when I was with my ex and you know, she forced me to take the other girl to my mom's house, and then she literally told that girl that we were not dating, we weren't together, and this and that, right? And it wasn't until the second night that she was over that we even slept together or anything, and I wasn't even the one that made the move. And I even pushed that girl off of me. I pushed this girl, Katarina. I pushed her off of me several times, about 3 times, right? But she came after me like a wild animal. And you know what I said? I said, well, if Kat is going to say that we aren't together for 3 months, she's not going to have sex with me for 3 months, she's not going to act like my girlfriend and be sweet and loving and kind or even talk to me, right? Well, then I guess she's not my girlfriend. Why am I fighting so hard for somebody that doesn't want me? Right? And see, that's the difference. Like, she will say I cheated on her. But in fact, having sex with that girl was the last thing I wanted to do. In fact, I begged her to stay home that day and spend time with me. Right? But it's because she has trauma from being hurt in her past that she does not know how to accept real love. And when she does have it, she pushes those people away. Yeah, it is crazy, Kylie. It is. Well, that's exactly how it went. And she might tell you otherwise, but I'm telling you the truth. That's exactly how it went, 100%. I didn't want to do it. The only reason I allowed myself to have sex with that girl was because I didn't want to feel like I was being pushed over and hurt anymore. And I was tired of desiring somebody who I thought didn't desire me. That's why I tell people, be straight up. It's like, if you want a relationship with me, you like me, you want something serious, and you want to be loyal and stuff to each other, well, then say that. Because if you move around like you're a single woman, well, then I'm going to think you're a single woman. Yeah, she's my older girlfriend. She's my ex, but I was with her for 4 years. And she had 2 kids. And it's like, I don't hold anything that she's done against me. I forgive her for everything. Because I understand that all the things that she has done has come from a place of feeling lost. From a place of feeling pain. And she's done some pretty screwed up stuff you know, in my relationship with her. But I don't judge her and I move past it. But the thing is, when I do get with somebody and I would like it to be her, I would want her to be loyal to me, I'd want her to be honest to me, and I'd want her to be loving to me, and that's it. And I'll be the same way back. I'm not going to lie to her. I'm not going to mislead her or mistreat her. But I want this. It's not unhealthy for me to want and desire, right? Something uh, that like that, right? That I want to give. Like, it's healthy for me to want to desire something that I want to give somebody else. And it's like, if you don't want to receive those things, right? Well, or give those things, well, then that's fine. I respect that. I understand. But it's like she got upset basically just because, you know, I'm trying to lay out what I want in a woman, and I just want a good, loyal, honest, loving woman that cares about me and, you know, doesn't sleep around with other guys and try to talk to other guys while I'm trying to talk to her. Because you know, when you put your dick inside of somebody, it's considered a union of flesh. It's considered almost marriage. So if I'm hanging out with her and some other dude is having sex with her, right? Well, then I'm not going to want to have a relationship with her because you have just entered into a partnership with somebody else by allowing them to have sex with you. Or even if you talk to them in a way that is like flirtatious or whatever, right? Sexual, you know, or in a way that you're trying to like get them to be your boyfriend or something, any of that stuff is not okay. Because I won't be doing that on the side. You know what I mean? I'll be doing this on the stream like I'm doing right now. And I would be loyal, loving, honest, and caring towards that one woman, right? I wouldn't be messaging other girls and seeing how it goes. I would put my faith into somebody. And I feel like that's what atheists don't have, is they don't know how to put their faith into people. Sorry, I'm gonna read. There's no such thing as an XX if you're not with again. Yeah, basically, essentially, yeah. Celibacy. Yeah, I have been celibate, Mel. I've been celibate for 2 months. Or she will hurt you before she could hurt. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Hold on, let me read this. Yeah, sometimes people get complacent and they don't want to change. Like they get stuck in how they are and they get comfortable, right? Because it's how they've been their entire life. And the only person that can make you feel comfortable during uncomfortable times is Jesus. And that's truth. And Kylie, if you are still watching, I am so sorry that your ex cheated on you. I love you. I care about you. And well, I hope he's your ex if he cheated on you. But yeah, I love you, Kylie, and I care about you, you know? And Kylie's my ex's niece, actually. But I hope she does get some words of wisdom and actually learns from what I have to say. So if you want to look for someone that's not going to cause you trauma, you need to look for the fruits of the Spirit, right? So you need to look for kindness. You need to look for honesty. You need to look for love. You need to look for, you know, someone that's caring. You need to look for someone that's patient. You need to look for someone that's understanding. You need to look for someone that has your best interests at heart. And ultimately, you need to look for somebody that follows God. That is number one. Because it is impossible to sin if you are following God, right? There might be a moment, right? There might be a couple minutes, an hour, hell, maybe even a couple days where you might not follow God. But if you are always striving towards God, right? Well, then you'll get back on track. You'll be able to get to where you need to be. And you won't be so lost anymore. Max saw singles, great. That's what Amanda says. You can't be loving towards one person. Too many people. Well, I'm loving towards one person, but that's the issue, is that there's no reciprocation, right? Is that I want that exclusive love that I give, right, to be received. Max Saw says, at 32, I feel like I wasted 10 years of my life. Yeah, that's crazy. Because there was this girl, her name was Jay. And to be honest, if I would have gotten clean, I'd probably be married to her today. You know what I mean? She probably would have married me. One of the few girls that are actually like really good, you know? She was loving, kind, sweet, caring, intelligent, creative, sexy. But you want to know the biggest issue? And I know why God doesn't want me with her? Because she's a witch. she's an actual witch. Like, she practices witchcraft and she is into the occult and everything else. You know what I mean? But Max Sauce, yeah, like, it sucks when you have a relationship from that young and now you're in your 30s. And you want to know something, bro? You want to know something, Max Sauce? Is that your girlfriend or ex, whatever, she assumed that she could get something better out there, that there was better out there and everything else, right? But she's going to find out that there's not. And that's why so many people are single right now. That's why so many people end up breaking up, because they encounter one problem, one roadblock, right? And they say, you know what? Let's throw in a towel. I'm going to start over. Let me get a new partner. You know what I mean? We're still together, brother. We don't have sex or anything. Well, then you're not together, man. To be honest, I had to learn that the hard way. You know, if a woman is not having sex with you, well, then you are not together. And I don't mean like every day. I mean, if you go like 2-3 months without having sex, and there's not like some sort of like mutual desire for that, there is something wrong, right? Because it is both the job of the husband to please the wife and take care of the wife, and as it is the wife's job to please the husband. We are supposed to work in tandem. We are supposed to, allow God to work through us to love each other. You know what I mean? Because if you do love your partner, well, then you're going to want to do acts of love, right? Like, when you love somebody as a human, you want to profess that love. It doesn't matter how it is, right? Like, I hate how my one ex, like my ex-cat, she would give other people intimacy and affection, right? She would hold their hands and kiss them and everything else. And that's the stuff that I wanted, right? But she wouldn't give it to me. But she would give it to other people. You know what she did for me? She would hurt me, and then she would buy me stuff, trying to buy my love or buy my forgiveness, and you can't. First of all, you are forgiven because I love you and nothing more, and because of God. And second of all, you cannot buy my love. And in fact, I felt insulted. And in fact, it hurt even more. I would have preferred her to not try to buy my love. Because when I see her giving affection to other men, being a certain way with other men, why? Because they lie to you and tell you what you want to hear, rather than hold you accountable, care about you. You know what I mean? I don't give just criticism. I give constructive criticism with love. If you got dirt on your face, I'm going to tell you. If you are going to bust your ass, I am going to warn you before you fall. You get what I mean? Always trying to follow a script? Yeah, that's terrible, bro. I just bought a house and proposed to her 2 years ago. Yeah, you want to know something? It always happens like that. Everything is fine until you get married. Because you want to know something, right? I have a feeling that if a woman truly wants to be with you for a long time, she will marry you within the first 2 years. Because if she waits any longer than that, well, then that means that there was a long period of time where she was indecisive on what she wanted. And there's so many women that will complain that a man won't put a ring on it, but what they are really saying is that the men that they want, the men that they chase, will not put a ring on it. Right? And then when they do, it's literally just to shut them up. Like my ex, she got given a ring by this guy named Mike. He only gave it to her so he would shut her up and get her trust, and so he could like have sex with women on the side and talk to them on the side, and she wouldn't think about it and be none the wiser. You need to look for the fruits of the Spirit. Just because someone does something right, doesn't always mean that it had good intentions behind it. Or she was waiting for you to make sure you don't talk. Yeah. Yes, that's why two become one. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Always texting to follow a script. Yes. Nothing wrong. Make sure everything is done in marriage. Sex outside of marriage is a mess. But you want to know something? You can't avoid sex outside of marriage. You just can't. It's impossible. Because most women and most men, they want to test drive the car before they purchase it, right? Two, our culture and our society basically makes it so if you don't have sex within the first probably 2-3 times of hanging out, that you're friend zoned. And that honestly does happen. Because if you don't get them to think about you in that sexual way, well then what happens is they start thinking about you as only a friend, right? And if you're hot or attractive, you might be able to come back into the fold, right? As like some sort of F buddy, but you'll never be the boyfriend. You know what I mean? So that's what sucks about it, right? Is that you literally have to dive deep into sin just to even try to get a woman or a man. Same thing, you know. The man if a woman doesn't put out early into the relationship, usually what happens is the man, he will go find something else. He will go and look elsewhere. And the reason is because what he takes it as this. He takes it as you are not interested. He takes it as he doesn't love you. He takes it as that you're not trying, right? That you're not trying to have that sort of level of intimacy. So then we end up in these situations where people are almost essentially forced, right? They're almost forced to have sex early on on these relationships, whether they want it or not. No, I don't want to build something from God from sin. And that's exactly my point. Is that anything that I try to do on my own is going to fail. Any woman that I try to get on my own is going to fail. I literally need one sent by God, because the only thing that's going to happen is heartache. The only thing that's going to happen, you know what I mean? So that's why I want a woman that's devoted to me and only me, right? Because here's the thing. You can have a marriage without getting married, but you have to stay exclusive. You have to stay exclusive. That's why that is my number one rule, right? Above all else, is that if I'm intimate with you, I am exclusively intimate with you. Whether we are in a serious relationship or whether we are just in the beginning of one, right? It has to be exclusive. And there's even biblical evidence to back that up. It's not that you necessarily have to wait until marriage. Does God want us to wait until marriage? Of course, to avoid all the pain and suffering and trauma that I've been through, because what ends up happening is I have sex with these girls. They love having sex with me, right? And then that's all they focus on. They focus on the sex. And then, so what I would do is I would, bang the crap out of them for however many months until they wanted to move on to the thing. Because instead of taking the time to see, the other gifts that God has given me besides my big dick, right? And my ability to use it, that's what they would focus on. And that traumatized me as well, right? That got me believing that was all I was good for. That got me believing that I can't be loved as a person. That got me believing, right, that I deserved all that trauma that had happened to me. Because I was basing my value based off of what people valued of me. And that's just not a way to live, guys. All right, I'm going to read some comments. I want kids to be happy, and I want the life I imagine. Amen. You're spreading misinformation about sex. Sex doesn't make up a relationship. What I'm trying to say is that modern men and modern women, if you do not have sex early on in the relationship, they end up just considering you a friend. That's 100% psychology. That's just our culture that we live in. That's just the way it is. Ask anybody. And it's sort of like an unwritten rule that if you don't get laid within the first 3 times that you hang out with a woman, you're probably not going to be their boyfriend and you're probably never going to have sex with them. I mean, to be honest, there was this one girl that made me wait. Like, I hung out with her probably 5-6 times, and then I saw her like 8 months later, and it's someone my ex really hates. But yeah, like, I ended up getting it in later, you know what I mean? And it was somebody that I wasn't just trying to have sex with this person. I wanted to be with him. You know what I mean? I wanted to even marry this person. I've met 2 women that I've wanted to marry in the past like 10 years. And that's it. But yeah, I've been staying celibate, bro. I'm 2.5 months celibate. 2.5 months. It's not a forced celibacy. But here's the thing, right? Like, I'm only staying away from sex, not because I don't like sex, but because when I do have sex, I want it to be with somebody I want to spend my life with and build a life with. Then it's biblical. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just telling you the reality of the culture. You know what I mean? Because what's going to happen is you will probably never get a wife if you waited until marriage. How many people, even inside the church, right, waited until marriage to have sex? How many people? Very few, if any at all. You know what I've actually heard is more common? I've heard that they meet in the church, they go on a couple dates, they like each other, they end up having sex, or they start with like foreplay and stuff, for a couple months or whatever, and then it graduates, and this and that. Because you want to know something, that what ends up happening is that when you are in a relationship or a partnership with somebody, and you are not providing them what they need, is what they do is they go look elsewhere. Right? So if it's not you that's having sex with her, well, then it's probably somebody else. And then your relationship is cooked anyway. You get what I mean? And God promised that people would be without love. So it's either you jump into Babylon, right? And you try to like find a good woman in this hellish place, just like finding a good man in this hellish place, right? Both are going to be hard to find. A good man is hard to find, and a good woman's hard to find. Right? Or you could just be a frickin' eunuch and just not go after any woman at all. Just not have any woman at all. See, that's what I stopped doing, is I stopped chasing woman. I'm allowing God to bring the woman to me. Secular woman, yeah. That was what I was talking about, was secular woman. But even women in the church, man, if you don't have sex with them, bro, they will move on. I promise you, they will move on. Unless that woman is like, I really want to wait until marriage and this and that, da-da-da-da. Unless you got a woman honestly saying that, if she's not saying I want to wait, well, then she doesn't want to wait. You know what I mean? It's considered marriage. It's considered a union. The second that you stick your dick inside of somebody, it's considered marriage. Go look it up in the Bible. The second that you have intercourse, it's considered a union of flesh. It's considered marriage. So that's why I will never allow a woman that I am dating to, even if I'm just seeing her casually, right? Say we're just warming up to each other again and getting comfortable with each other again. Say me and my ex are hanging out and we have sex, right? And then, she goes and hangs out with another guy another day the next week, and then she has sex with him, right? And then she comes back and then she has sex with me, and then she's like, oh, well, now I kind of figured out what I want, this and that, da-da-da-da. And I would tell her, oh, well, too bad. You treat me like an option, and I'll treat you like one. You know what I mean? I am no longer living a life where I don't get what I give. And that is biblical too. that you have to get what you give. And if you are unequally yoked, well, then it's time to move on. So that's why I am forcing the next woman that I am with to meet me where I'm at, to put in what I give. Because the reality is, you want me always there? You always want my help? You always want my love? That's fine. But you better be the same way for me. And it's not out of selfishness. It's out of self-preservation, which God wants us to do. He wants us to preserve ourselves in certain situations. That's why he gives us this wisdom about this stuff. You know, otherwise there wouldn't be a point of mentioning it. The reason why we are given this wisdom is to avoid those pitfalls. You truly don't need sex, I get it. Well, the thing is, like, it's not the sex I really care about. It's the connection, right? It's the ability to bond with another being, a human being, right? It's about being able to make them feel good, you know, make them smile, make them, you know, feel euphoric. Like if I'm gonna have sex with somebody, I'm gonna make sure I give them the best sex I possibly can. You know what I mean? And it's because I'm a very unselfish lover. And it's because I love to connect. You know what I mean? Because it's not about me. Like when I have sex with a woman, it's not about me getting off, right? I like getting them off, but what it is about is that connection, that bond, that closeness that you can only get in that act, you know? That's why it's so special. That's why sex is so special, is because one, it creates life, but two, it makes you bond in a way. Like chemicals are released, you know? That's why cheating is so disgusting to me. Because when you allow another man inside of you, and you're seeing somebody and they were just inside of you, well then what you just did was that you corrupted whatever union you had with that other person. And it's like, people who aren't Christian can't understand this. Like, I don't understand why my ex can't understand that I'm not gonna want her if she's going around casually having sex with other guys. Like, I don't care if we are in a committed relationship or not. Like, if you are going to start seeing me, then it is commitment. You know, I'm not gonna be just your friend. I refuse to be that. You know, it's different when you don't have history with somebody, but when you have 4 years of history, well, I can't ever just go back to being just a friend. It's impossible. Okay, have a good day, Mel. Absolutely, God bless you. Devontae. No, the other girl's a witch, Amanda. That's a Katarina. So I got Kat and Katarina, so it's 2 cats. And they're both friends. They're where they used to be. That was like her best female friend, the girl that was a witch. But the other girl was a witch too. So the girl, Katarina's not a real witch. She doesn't practice like magic and stuff. She's like a TikTok, you know, type of like look at astrology charts and tarot cards and stuff. Like she doesn't actually like do spells and she's not deep into it, which is good. Like, she likes it, right? She likes it a lot, which is not good. But she hasn't taken the time to, like, study the art of the occult and, like, reading and stuff. Which is why she had me doing her reading. And if you want me to be honest, the only reason I did that tarot card reading was to get laid. I mean, and I knew it would get me laid. I knew it would get me laid. I knew it. Do you understand that if you were an attractive man and you have a woman that's into witchcraft and stuff, and you start reading her chart and stuff like that, and you give her a good enough reading, boy, oh man, well, she's ready for you. But that's the thing, right? I invited Satan in. I invited lust. You know? And that's the thing. I will believe that it's a good thing, right? And that's what happens a lot in our lives, is that we have these things happen to us, or we have these people come into our lives, and we believe that they are a good thing. We believe that, you know what I mean? whatever it may be. And then we get proven otherwise, right? They prove us otherwise. They actually prove us that the whole time they were bad for our lives, and they weren't heaven sent, but hell sent. You know, that's what happens a lot, is we confuse things that we think are good, you know, with things that are actually good. Because that's the thing, God is always good. God will always make sure he gives you someone that is good. He's never going to give you someone that takes you away from him. He's never going to give you someone that, you know, pulls you away from his love. But love means different for people. Sex is the lowest ring of love. No, dude, well, here's the thing. Sex is literally just physical connection. But if you look at it like most people do, to most people, sex is literally just busting a nut for both man and woman. For most people, sex is literally just busting a nut. It is nothing more than that. They have reduced themselves down to animals. Look at the song Pound Town, right? That song Pound Town, it literally reduces her to an animal. You know, it's not about love. It's not about connection. It's not about having one person that you feel like you can't live without. You know, which is how I feel about that girl Kat. I feel like I can't live without her. I love her. You know, I was with her for 4 years. Sex is a connection that is performed physically, right? But you receive it emotionally. Like, sex is performed physically, but you receive that connection spiritually. You see it emotionally. Because if you're having sex with somebody and you're on like the same wavelength, like you're connected, you could feel it. And that's why it's often dangerous. That's why it is dangerous. That's why sex is dangerous. Because people confuse oxytocin and euphoria with love too. So what happens is like, if say I have sex with a woman, right? And I have sex with her really good. I make her come a lot, you know, everything else. Well, what ends up happening is she starts catching feelings, not because of who I am as a person or my personality or whatever it may be, but she's catching feelings because of that chemical euphoria that I am causing for her, right? You know, and my ex-fiance or whatever she was, she'll even tell you that it was too much, that she was falling in love with me, and that she couldn't handle it. Like, I literally had sex with this woman. I made her squirt all over the bed, all over her face. Like, there literally was not a dry spot left on that bed. And she was crying, and I remember her crying, and I'm like, why the hell is this girl just like melting in tears, like after I had sex with her? And then I'm like holding her, and I'm like trying to comfort her, and I'm telling her, like, you know, I don't know what's wrong, but like, you know, it's okay, I'm here, you know, I care about you, I love you. But I feel like that's what it was, right? Was because she had this brokenness inside of her. She had this pain inside of her. And then when she was actually given true love, right? And she got to experience it on a physical level to the most, a spiritual level to the most, an emotional level to the most, right? Because of that, you know, she was overwhelmed. But here's the thing, when you're not a child of God, you can't accept God's love. You can't accept true love from anybody. You know, it's only by receiving the love of the Father It's only by receiving, you know, the love of God that you.
Good morning, sir. How
Good
are you
morning.
today?
How are you?
Good, good, man. I got my granddaughter here.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
she's heard me
I'll end the
talking
stream.
about sex and all this stuff.
Oh, dude,
I
I'm sorry.
understand you, but it's my granddaughter. Can you believe it?
Yeah. No, because I was talking about trauma and stuff about that. I'm sorry about that, brother. No. All right. Guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Listen, someone's got their granddaughter, so I can't be talking about trauma. Originally I wasn't talking about that, but someone brought that topic up, so I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't know the neighbor had a person over. But you know, you're gonna have trauma in life. You're gonna have things happen to you, and there's gonna be many people that don't really love you, and they confuse that with love. They confuse that feeling with love, and it's not love. And what ends up happening is you end up being destroyed from the inside out, because the only type of love that you can really truly get is that love from God, you know? And that's the thing, is like the world will make you think that these things in your life, right? Um, yeah, I'm gonna go back inside, but it's also more than that. But the world is gonna make you believe that these things in this world in your life, right, um, are going to make you happy, or that they're going to fulfill. And it's not going to, you know. You can get all the love you need from God. You don't need to look anywhere else. And I know I'm losing a lot of people. Oh, no. Oh, she wasn't inside. She was inside the apartment, but I guess they could hear it from inside their apartment from the outside. But I think there's a little bit more sound uh, uh, dampening over here. That's what. Hey, what's up, Kelly? How you doing? But like trauma, when you get over it, like it makes you feel, you know, it makes you feel like renewed, right? I'm probably gonna go outside, guys. Actually, let me put my shoes on. I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna take this with me. Oh yeah, no, they do think I was leaving. I mean, I was going to at first. Well, the thing is, like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Someone's got their granddaughter over there, and I understand, like, what I'm talking about. It is relevant. It's not just me just like talking, but it's also like serious subject matter, which I said before in the beginning of the stream, right? But that doesn't make it any better for the neighbor. You know, just because I tell you guys before I start the stream that I'm going to be talking about certain subject matter, possibly because of what has gone on, right? You know, but that was what I needed deliverance from. Was I had that, you know, that had a hold on me. I needed deliverance, right? And it doesn't matter what kind of thing happens in your life, you know, if it is something that has caused you pain or problems for years of your life, it is something that you need to let go, you know, but we can only let go of it because we have a savior to bear that pain, to bear that burden for us, right? If I didn't have, you know, you want to know one of the best ways to relieve yourself from like trauma is that you put on a worship song, right? You put on a worship song, like I like the song like Break Every Chain, you know what I mean? Like that was a great song. My dad dedicated it to me essentially for like overcoming addiction, you know? Being only a survivor of a lifetime of little trauma experience. Dude, no, I've been drugged and R-worded, bro. I've had, and this multiple times. I'm not trying to bring that stuff up. Because I don't want to trigger anybody, really. I'm not trying to trigger people. You know, I'm trying to talk about the victory. But I've had a lot of bad things happen to me where people had given me drugs and I passed out, and, you know, I don't want to go into detail. But it's terrible stuff I had to go through. Like awful stuff. You know, but you overcome. Oh yeah, Gregory. But that's the thing too. It's like I don't want to dwell on the pain. I want to dwell on Jesus, which is God. You really have to allow that healing to take place, you know? There's many people that they feel like they don't deserve the healing. There's many people they feel like they deserve the pain or the trauma or whatever it is that they are going through. And you don't. You don't deserve that. You know, we deserve life. We deserve victory. And you only get life and victory through Jesus. You know? Everything else is death. Everything else besides Jesus and what God gives you is death. It is spiritual death. It is physical death. It is just death, no matter what it is. You know? That's why you gotta love everything that God does give you that's good. And it's like God doesn't want us worshiping animals, right? But it's like if you have a pet dog and that dog really loves you and, you know, God knows that dog helps you get through the day sometimes, you know, when you're all alone or something, right? Because you don't have anybody else, you know, physically. Well, you know what I mean? That could be a gift from God, right? But it's not something to be worshipped like some people do. They worship their animals. And it's like you don't want to worship those things. You want to be thankful for those things, but you don't want to worship those things. Absolutely. Keep going. That is the mantra. I just feel really... What's up, Vishal? How you doing? Miss you, brother. Good to see you around. Yeah, my mother was in the fire. My grandma... That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I'm so sorry, Gregory. That's crazy. But, yeah, no, I just feel really bad about the neighbor. If I would have known that it was, they got a little girl over there, I feel terrible. I mean, they're inside. Like, she's inside, but still, it's not cool. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like you can confuse that physical sensation with love, and it's not the same thing, and that's what ends up happening in our modern culture. That's the issue, right? That's the problem, is that people confuse lust with love. They confuse euphoria. They confuse euphoria. I just spilled my coffee everywhere too, guys. You know what I mean? That's $1 down the toilet. And see, I've been buying pods to save money too. I don't buy coffee from the, you know what I mean? What's up, Vishal? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. I think it might even be Monday for Vishal, or it's late Sunday, one or the other. Absolutely. Yeah, no, exactly. But I feel guilty about the kid. You know what I mean? Like the kid shouldn't have had to hear any of that. But I know my words help people that have struggled and been through similar situations, though, and that's why I say them. You know, because whether we want it to be or not, it is unfortunately the world that we live in today. Like the world that we live in today is corrupt. It is Babylon. We live in a modern day Babylon. And it's like we have to just accept that, essentially. I mean, I was reading the book of Habakkuk, right? So Habakkuk, he was a prophet of the Lord, and what he did was he cried out to the Lord when he was witnessing his people, right? He was witnessing the Israelites and the Jew, like the people, the Jews, right, from Judea. He was witnessing the Judeans, right, go into the occult, turn away from God, lose out, you know what I mean? Like lose themselves and stray away from him and start worshiping false idols and stuff. There was a lot of violence like there is today. There was a lot of disasters like there is today. In a lot of ways, you know, we are living in the book of Habakkuk. You know, these cycles, they tend to like repeat. So in Habakkuk, you know, he's praying to God. He's like, how long, right? He emphasizes how long. He's like, how long must I cry? You know, why do you just sit idly by? Why don't you do anything? And that's the thing, is that God was being graceful and that he was waiting to give judgment, right? He gave the Judeans as much time as they could have possibly have needed to turn back to God. But then he allowed the Chaldeans, right? He allowed the Chaldeans, when he responds to Habakkuk, he says the Chaldeans will come and conquer that land, right? And they will have horses as swift as leopards. So, and he says they are a bitter and hasty nation. So, by bitter and hasty nation, he means ungodly. That they are following, evil ways and evil things, right? Which is what's happening today, And that bitterness led to hastiness, right? So they weren't growers, right? They weren't like agriculturalists. They weren't people that were like beneficial, right? They were almost like Vikings. They were almost like Mongolians, right? They just came, conquered, and took things. That is how they operate. That is how the Chaldeans, right? That's how they would move. So the Chaldeans, they would just come in and they would just take everything they possibly can, right? And here's the thing. God always judges. Like, there's no one that escapes judgment. You will never escape judgment. Sorry to interrupt. I want to know what's up those stairs. Just storage. It honestly used to be where I sleep. I had a mattress up there, but the mattress is no longer right there. So I can't sleep there no more. And it's no good. I wish I could sleep up there, but I don't have my mattress anymore. They were living in my house is huge. No, it's small, bro. It's one apartment. It's literally one room. It's just I live on the second floor, so I have to take a set of stairs to get up. I don't have a ground floor entrance because I'm only on a second floor. It's literally one room. I sleep in the living room, and then my mom has her bedroom when she's in the nursing home right now, and I gotta move out when she gets back. I don't even know where I'm going. See, you want to know something? I don't even know where the hell I'm going. I don't know where I'm moving. I don't know where I'm going to be off to. You know what I mean? But I live by faith. I walk by. I know that something is going to come through. And even if I had to live on the street, it wouldn't be the first time. And it wouldn't be the last time. You know what I mean? So, the trauma in your life, you can allow it to take root. You can allow it to spread. You can allow it to destroy yourself. Or you can allow God to shine a light on that trauma, and he can heal you and deliver you from it. I remember there were so many nights where I just woke up screaming. I was literally kicking and screaming, having these very vivid nightmares, like of these events that have happened to me. I've had people R-word me. I've had people like after I got drugged or something. You know what I mean? Like it was always when I was vulnerable. It was never like when I was sober. Like no one ever tried to do it when I was sober. They would do it like they would literally deliberately poison me, like overdose me on drugs and knock me out, and then have their way or whatever. It's disgusting. I'm just grateful that I don't remember what happened in between, and that I only remember my ass being sore. My ass was sore for a week, and I used that excuse for my dad to buy me heroin for a week. I was like, Dad, I need a bundle of heroin every day for a week because I can't feel this pain. This pain just reminds me of the trauma. But that's how sick my addiction was, is that my desire for dope was even greater than that of the trauma that I just went through. And I went through some serious trauma. You're welcome, Amanda. Let me start reading some comments. There are degrees of understanding. Only God can open us up to the highest degree. Yes, of understanding a man. Until that happens, man will perceive all things as love and sex in his lower mind. Yes. Well, just like they will confuse what is good with what is evil and what is evil with what is good. I mean, that is exactly what is happening right now, right? People celebrate people beating each other up. They celebrate people shooting each other. They celebrate people shaking their ass and getting naked. They celebrate women raising their body counts to like triple digits. You know what I mean? That is not something to celebrate. Same thing with men. It's not a celebration. You know what I mean? To be honest, it's sad. You know what? It's sad. It really is. A bunch of lost people looking for something that they'll never get because they are always looking at the wrong people. And you want to know something? It is those bad girls and it is those bad guys that get the attention. It is because they, you know what I mean? They act a certain way, right? They stand out. They make themselves known. And when a girl is like very shy and very reserved, or a man is very shy and very reserved, right? People aren't going to go out of their way to try and talk to you. They're not going to go out of their way to try and like be with you unless you really unless you really are that hot to them or something, right? Which I've had instances of in my life, more so when I'm younger, you know, because the novelty wears off, you know, just like it wore off for me. It's like, okay, I've been with freaking models before, right? I've dated models before. I've had sex with models. I've whatever, you know? They're just people. They look good, yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, those aren't the people I remember. I remember people like my ex Kat, you know, where we have good times and laugh or had good talks. Or my ex Jay, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Where we would actually do wholesome things, go out and eat pizza together with their family and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, people are celebrating the wrong things these days. You know, they're celebrating evil and they are demonstratizing good. So it's like when someone is loving, kind, and caring, oh, they're a pussy. You know what I mean? Oh, a man is actually good, loyal, and faithful. And, oh, he's a simp. He can't get other women. Why? Because he's, you know what I mean? That's the thing is I'll be in a relationship and I will be loyal and I'll be getting all this attention from other females the entire time. And you want to know something? I'll just be ignoring those other females the entire time. The entire time. I will ignore them. I will not pay them any mind. I will not flirt with them or anything. But you want to know something? Is I don't make it known that I have all these girls after me. Because one, there's no reason for me to really bring it up because I'm not trying to talk to them like that. And two, it's like, it's not something to brag about if you're with somebody. And three, it's like, it's only going to cause them what? Distress, mental unrest, right? But because I don't flaunt my value in front of somebody, like I don't flaunt my desirability in front of somebody, well, then I become less desirable because all of a sudden, right, it's not me being valuable because the girl that's with you will look at it as, oh, well, if I'm the only girl that wants you, well, then I have all the power in the relationship. You do what I say. You do what I want. You see, it's only when they fear losing you, and this goes for men and women, when they fear losing you, that's when they try to act straight and act good again. But the moment that they feel secure, like they have your love again, like they have your loyalty, well, then that's the moment they're back to their bullshit. And it's very sad, right? Let your trauma turn you to Batman. I am Batman. But that's exactly what ends up happening, you know, is that we allow people to feel less about ourselves when we shouldn't. We have been given grace, forgiveness, and love through Jesus Christ, and our worth comes through that. And we can't earn, you know, through works, but works are a result of loving God. Works are a result of having faith. Works are a result of just trying to be part of the kingdom of God and build it bigger. You know, that is why I do this. I don't do it for pay. I don't do it for nothing. This ministry is all about love and about spreading, you know, the gospel of Jesus Christ. You know, and helping people get through their anxiety, helping them get through their trauma, helping them get through their bad relationships or whatever it may be. Because I have been there. I have been there many times. And the thing is, I don't want to go back. I don't ever want to go back to the way that I was living before. I don't want to ever go back to feeling as if I'm stuck in suffering. I want to feel free. I want to feel lifted up. And you only get that through Christ, and that's who helps heal your trauma. He is the only one that can heal your trauma. The only one. God gives us revelation so that we can walk through this life with great... Exactly. Celebrations are their rewards. Exactly. Good and evil have their own rewards. I would rather... Exactly. You don't want to know? Because you can get the rewards of evil. I promise you that Satan will make sure that you get that nice house. Satan will make sure that your pocket is full of money, overflowing even. Satan will make sure that you get the all the sluttiest girls or whatever guy, whatever that you want. But you want to know something? You will not be happy. You will be miserable. You will be surrounded by things, money, people, and you will never feel more empty or alone. I promise you, the most alone I ever felt was wearing Louis Vuitton and freaking having stacks and stacks and stacks upon hundreds of dollar bills in my pocket. And tons of drugs and whatever. Woman, I have never felt more alone than I was there. I felt like I was suffering all by myself and nobody understood what I was going through. They thought, oh, everything's okay because TJ has money. And this is like years ago and all of it got stolen from me. Honestly, I had a lot of money, but I didn't spend a lot of money. I only spent $6,000 of it when my dad died, of the $100,000. And then the other $94,000 got stolen from me by my best friend of 13 years. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm broke now because it got robbed from me. But, you know, it doesn't matter, you know? I just want to be able to survive. I want to be able to continue on. Oh, man, I hope I didn't lock my doors, guys. I hope I didn't lock myself out of my house. Worst case scenario, you guys are going to have to see me parkour up the roof. I will make sure I live stream me parkouring up the roof, guys. What's up, Lions on the Path? And getting on the road in an hour or two. Was literally thinking about a video of this. Oh, that's crazy. That's what's up. How the devil turns us away to God without knowing the most of the time. Yes, exactly. And the devil, he will take your trauma and he will use it like a knife that is in your leg. And he will twist it and twist it and twist it and twist that knife over and over and over again. Right? He's keep you from being healed. Because the only way out is through. You know what I mean? And with trauma, people tend to go around. People tend to try to avoid. They try to circumvent. They don't actually try to deal with the issue, right? But the only one that could give us that strength to face that trauma is Jesus Christ. I promise you. And if you allow that wound to fester, if you allow that poison to circulate through your body, you allow that cancer to metastasize and spread. Well, not only does it begin rotting you from the core spiritually, it makes your heart cold, it makes your heart hardened, it makes it hard for you to love somebody. And trust me, I know this because I have been with somebody that was like this. And it's somebody I unfortunately love very much. But, you know, that's the thing. You can allow trauma to control you, or you can allow it to be your testimony. You can allow God to give you the greatest testimony of your life, which is overcoming something that you thought you never would. And we do it through him. We give all glory to him, and we give all praise to him. How the devil turns us away to God. A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Proverbs 18:24. Amen. And that's the thing. You can allow these things to control you. You can allow trauma to rot you from the inside out. Or you could go through this trauma. You could face this trauma with God, knowing that he's holding your hand the whole way through. You know, it's like walking through a dark tunnel as like a little child, right? As like, imagine you're 5 years old and you're walking through a scary dark tunnel, and it's like you're in some place you've never been before. You hear scary sounds, you see shadows moving and everything else, right? Well, you can walk through that tunnel alone, and a tunnel and the stuff in it is metaphorical for trauma, right? You can walk through that tunnel and face those monsters alone. Or you can have Jesus take you by the hand, and he will be that shining light in that dark tunnel, exposing the darkness, so that when you do see those monsters and you have to face those monsters, meaning the trauma, you have the strength, the will, and the love and forgiveness to overcome. Because that's what it's going to take, you know? Trauma is about receiving and giving away. So you receive trauma, but you could give it away. And either you give it away in the form of Jesus Christ releasing it from you and spreading the good message of how he helped you overcome your testimony, or you give that trauma away in other ways. Ways that might harm other people. Ways that might harm you. Because if you don't allow trauma to heal, well then what you start doing is you start to mask the pain. You start to try to numb yourself to the point where you can't feel a damn thing. And trust me, I have done that. I have chased that dragon for like 10 years. No longer, but I chased that dragon for over 10 years. Just trying to be like the Pink Floyd song, Comfortably Numb. Amen, brother. Yeah, no, I parkoured the roof before. It sucks, but I've done it. This is beautiful, and I needed this. That's what's up, Jay. That's what's up. I'm glad you got to hear it. But you had the strength to overcome through him, and it's only through him. If you don't allow that healing to take place, what's going to happen is that you are going to start to spread that pain that you are experiencing. You are going to take that hurt and you are going to release it in one way or another, whether you realize it or not. And it's like, if you got a family, it could affect your kids. It affects your relationships. It affects your relationship with God. You want to know? Because if you have trauma in your life and you can't accept that it happened, and you can't forgive the people that transgressed you, right? Well, then I doubt that you can feel the peace and forgiveness and love from God. Because only those that forgive can be forgiven. And I know it shouldn't be on the victim, right? It shouldn't be on the trauma victim to do this, but it is. It 100% is, unfortunately. You know, it's on the victim to heal. It is the victim's responsibility to heal, unfortunately. You know, it's not something that your transgressor is not going to give you the answers or the feeling that you seek or the closure or whatever you call it, right? Your transgressors are not going to give you that. You can only receive that through God. Pink Floyd was always a favorite of mine. Amen, brother. That's what's up. Have you ever ended up at a celebration with no internal? Yeah, exactly. You want to know something? Even celebrations and parties like feel different to me now. You know? It's like, I don't even want to celebrate my own birthday because I don't want to celebrate myself. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do something for God on my birthday. I want to thank him, you know? Vain acts stealing time on this planet. Well, you want to know something? Is that just like in the time of Habakkuk, you know, God is allowing this evil to take place. He's allowing this stuff to happen. But it's because he's already doing work and you can't even see what he's doing. You know, because when he responds to Habakkuk, right, and he says, do you not know what plans I have? You know, essentially, he says, do you not know the stuff I am doing? You know, because he was calling over like Chaldeans and stuff, right? He was having the Chaldeans come and commit justice against the Judeans because the Judeans were sinning, right? And Habakkuk was pleading with God, begging them to be corrected, essentially, because when you are living in sin, right, like a nation was, like in Habakkuk, you know, when a nation is living in sin like Judea was, well, then they are living apart from God. It's a mercy. It's a mercy for God to judge us. It honestly is. And, you know, it's like that with trauma, too. You know, it's like trauma can almost be a beautiful thing. And I'm not saying the act of that's committed against you, but I'm talking about the transformation that could take place once you overcome. Because that trauma builds you. It gives you a wisdom and understanding of the world that you would not otherwise have had you not gone through that pain, gone through that suffering. Lines on the path, my birthday changed the day I was born again. Amen. It's the only birthday that means anything to me. That's what's up. Amenable. Yeah, that's what's up. Hold up. But yeah, you know, we can live our lives. We can live our lives, you know, carrying that pain. Or we could release it. And we can allow it to transform us into something beautiful. Because it isn't until the weight, you know, the anchor is pulled up off the ship that the ship truly gets in motion. You know, trauma is like an anchor. It prevents you from growing. It prevents you from becoming who you are meant to be. But it's also forging you who you are meant to be. Isn't that crazy, the dichotomy of that? The dichotomy of trauma is that it prevents you from being who you need to be, but it also makes you who you need to be. But that choice is all on you. And it can be healed just by surrendering. Surrendering to God, surrendering to Jesus, and doing it with a full heart. And the thing is, you want to call out God while your heart is still beating, while it's still warm. Because if you have a cold, hardened heart, right, from the trauma, well, then you're most likely not going to seek God. And you're not going to seek him fully in the way you need to. You know, there is a point where it almost becomes too late. Just like Pharaoh. You know, his heart, you know, God allowed him to harden it 7 times before he hardened his once. So when God is knocking at your door, when he is saying, you know, daughter, son, I see the pain that you've experienced. I've seen the struggling that you have gone through. I have seen all the suffering that you had to endure. But I love you, and I accept you, and I want you to know that you are forgiven, and that you should forgive those that have transgressed against you, just as I have forgiven you. Because if you don't give your life to Jesus, when your heart is still tender, when it still has a softness to it, well, then it becomes very hard to connect with the Lord. You know, that's why there's many intellectuals. There's some guy I watch, his name is Professor Dave Explains, right? And I like when he actually, like, takes down people like Terrence Howard and Billy Carson spreading lies, right? But then when he starts talking about creationism, that's where he's just like, he's got it wrong, like microevolution can exist along with God. You can't just get life from non-life. Abiogenesis has not been proven. It has not been replicated. And yeah, he makes a comment like, oh, well, we can't create a sun, but we know how the sun works. Okay, but my point is that there must be a God to be able to create a sun, right? To create life from nothing. That's the point. We're not saying that it can't be done. We're saying that it requires a God to do it. That's all. Gregory says the original trauma was the fall of man. Yes, exactly. Represented by the story of Eden. And that's exactly what it is. We have had this trauma ever since, right? You want to know that hole that is deep inside of you, that pain that is deep inside of you, that thing that makes you want to constantly keep seeking the Lord or something else like a drug to numb you? Well, that is from the trauma of leaving the garden, the separation between Adam and Eve. It is because of that separation, right, that we have ended up in this position. That separation has damaged us. It has hurt us in ways that we cannot even imagine. But we can get back on track. I shaved my beard because it was getting too thick and annoying. I didn't want to shave it. I even made a post saying I didn't want to shave it. I like keeping it, but it was, I don't have the right kind of trimmers, so I can't trim it properly. The guards I have, they're either too long or too short. Yeah. Tina, how you doing? I'm doing good. Listen, guys, do not vote for Kamala. If you live in the United States, dude, they are literally bombarding me. Look at that. That's the face of a witch. She's got black eyes like a demon. Just let it grow wild like mine. I would if it gets annoying though. It's like, I like it when it's like, when I shape my beard up and it's not too long. And it like I'll have the frame of it. But once it starts getting like too long, that's when I don't like it. But what's good, Tina? How you doing? Listen. Everybody's anticipating my brother Drunk Koala to start streaming again. He took off all the streams on his channel, right? He made a post. Drunk Koala, he actually made a post saying that, we need to start following God and give it up to Jesus and stuff. And that's really awesome. You know what I mean? I was happy to see it. Hold on, guys. I need to put on my shirt. It's hot, dude. Yo, how come Drunk Koala can sit with his shirt off, but like if I feel when I sit with my shirt off, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And he's got titties. He's actually got like boobs. He's got man boobs. But yeah, don't let that guilt hold you back. Don't let nothing hold you back from seeking God. You'll find him. You know what I mean? Yeah, LOL, TJ. Yeah, this is just a hangout part of the session, guys. I'm done with the message. I've already run an hour for the message, so the message is over. But we're chilling. We're hanging out. So talk to me, guys. What's up? All right, I'm going to read chat, guys. Hold up. Just LOL, TJ. Yeah. LOL, Tina. And when people hurt you, serve... Yeah, separation of self. You got to forgive yourself. That's the thing too, is people, they will blame themselves for bad things that happen to them. And sometimes bad things just happen to good people. It's a sick world we live in, right? And you're going to make dinner soon, Tina. That's what's up. Big ups to Tina. Big ups to Tina in the chat. Big ups to Lions on the Path. Go check him out. His channel's awesome. He pumps out great videos, you know what I mean? Even when he's got a lot of stuff going on in his life, he still manages to put out really awesome content. I recommend checking him out. But yeah. So guys, I have some future plans I want to talk to you guys about. I want to let you guys know I plan on doing a wilderness stream. What time is it? Right now it's what is it? It's 9:39 right now. I love you too, Lions. Yeah, I'm just hanging out now, Josh. So if you just wanna, either you hang out or whatever, you know what I mean. But the main message is over. I love you, brother. But yeah, it's 9:40. Yeah, it's early. Yeah, it's 9:40 in the morning. But I'm planning on, guys. Listen, I am planning on doing a wilderness stream. I am planning on going out into the wild and fasting the whole time and building like a bushcraft shelter or something like that. You know what I mean? And I want to do it with nothing but hand tools. But I don't really have like the money to fund it. But it is something I definitely want to do. I definitely want to do like a wilderness fast where I stream the entire thing. You know what I mean? And what we'll do is it'll just basically be a continuous stream. You know, we'll be hanging out, whatever, talking, or you guys will be watching me like do stuff like, create a fire or gather wood or whatever it might be. You have to get packing. I will let you know. I'll let you know if I do a stream. Yeah, wilderness stream would be amazing. Yeah, it would be cool. And the reason I have to keep the stream going is because I don't want people saying that I broke my fast. You know what I mean? I want people saying that I like cheated eating food. So I'll either do an intermittent fasting, which is where I don't eat until sundown, or I only eat breakfast and then the rest of the day I don't eat, or I'm gonna just go completely without. I'm gonna try to go completely without food. I'm gonna just try water. Yeah, it would be great. And then so what I'll do during the stream is I'll open up with prayer, I guess, in the morning, and then what we'll do is we'll go on like a walk or something. You know what I mean? Get a fire going, whatever it might be. But if winter time comes, bro, I want to make an igloo. I want to do an igloo. Yes, an igloo stream. I think that would be so cool. Like if I did like an igloo stream, I think that'd be really dope. You do watch outside videos, Amanda? That's what's awesome. Yeah, I love it. It's peaceful. It's like God built this beautiful world for us. And yeah, be like Bear Grylls, exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I probably will end up being more like Steve Carell from The Office. Dude, remember when he rips his pants to like make like his tent and his bandana, but then he's like cold because he ripped up all his clothes. But yeah, good morning from Michigan. That's what's up. How you guys doing? That's what's up. But yeah, we're gonna definitely do like an outdoor stream. I definitely want to plan that out. So I think that would be really cool. I might even try to like hunt wildlife and stuff. You know what I mean? But maybe not, because I don't like killing animals. I'd rather give them a hug, to be honest. Like if I saw like a cute deer, I would rather give it a hug than kill it, or a bunny. I'd rather take it home with me. Bye, Josh. I'll see you later, brother. I love you. Oh yeah, he slept inside the camel carcass. Yeah, to stay warm in the desert. Like you have to in some of these situations. Some of these situations they're crazy. Like the extremity that you have to go through in the wild. You know what I mean? But yeah, there will be an upcoming nature fast stream. So wilderness stream. We're gonna call it Out in the Wilderness, I guess. Maybe it'll be the series. It'll be called like Out in the Wilderness or In the Wilderness or something like that. You've seen Bear Grylls 3 times in real life? That's what's up. I wish I could meet him. That sounds great. My son got an inheritance also, his toxic girlfriend. Yeah, yep. Dude, my toxic girlfriend had me spend the second inheritance check, which was like $40,000, all on her. Like on our legal fees to keep her out of jail. Yeah, the rest got stolen from friends. Amen. It sucks, but that's the way it is. You want to know something? The money I had was a loaded gun. Like that when I was given $100,000, I was given a loaded gun, Kelly. Like I was given so much money that I would have killed myself if I would have had access to all of it at that time. So it's kind of good that it got stolen from me, all of it, even though, my dad probably had better plans for it, But that's that's awesome. You signed your books, Tina. That's what's up. But yeah, wilderness stream. Well, we're definitely gonna want to do the wilderness stream, and I'll be fasting the whole time. I'll be streaming it the whole time. I'm gonna have to make sure I got battery packs and stuff charged up, so that way I can always keep them in rotation. I actually saw this really cool battery pack thing. I kind of want to get. It's like a battery pack with solar cells on it. It So like during the day when you're not using it or whatever, you just have the solar cells out collecting the energy, and then you just keep the battery packs running. Like, so that's something I want to do. To be honest, guys, I might build. So all right. So in Pennsylvania, there's so much woods around here, right? Where I live, there's so much woods. So I'm thinking about going to one of the state parks somewhere, and I'm thinking about trying to build like a shelter of some kind. To be honest, though, because I'm disabled and stuff, I might not be able to do it because I don't think I could shovel that hard dirt and like, I think I would destroy my back. I don't think I could do it. So I might just get a tent, to be honest. But I'll go out in the wilderness, like in the woods. We have a state park over here. Maybe I'll go to Broadhead Creek. So Broadhead Creek over here, it's got a lot of different trees. But there's also like spots of like waterfalls and stuff, I believe. So I want to camp near the waterfall. I think that would be really cool. Put a tent up near the waterfall, like on the rocks and stuff. I think that would be pretty dope. I might even stream me like doing some crazy stuff like under the waterfall or at the waterfall, whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe like a challenge where like I try to stand under the water as long as I possibly can. You know what I mean? Just like fun stuff like that to kill time. Because I'm gonna be out there for a while. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be streaming the whole time. But there'll be moments where I'm praying. There'll be moments when I'm like, you know what I mean? When I'm just like doing my thing. But I might go the extra mile and I might do it like naked and afraid. I might just do it to where I don't have any modern like essentials. I'll have clothes though. I can't be naked on this stream. Although I'm sure, people like Tina might want to see my booty. I do have a nice butt. But yeah, when it's not that type of show. Yeah, get a tent and a mattress or something. I wish I could have visited you, but it's all right, brother. Yeah, you're on the west side of the state. You want to know something? If I would have been with my fiance still, you would have been able to visit me. You know what I mean? Look, I got cake. I got cake for a guy. I got cake. I don't know why, for no reason. When I eat food, that's just where it goes. The benefit is, at least when I sit down on like rocks and stuff, I got a little padding, But yeah, I was thinking about getting one of those hammock tents. I think that would be really dope. You know, the tents that you could pitch up between the trees and then like, yeah, I think the hammock tent would be really dope. I got a cake and a refrigerator. Oh, that's awesome. And a refrigerator. That's funny. Amanda's, yes. Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I would love to get one of those hammock tents. Just because it gets you off the ground, you know what I mean? It's the ground that makes you cold, and it's the ground that you have to worry about, like, water coming into your tent and like totally like just ruining your day. All right, guys. I guess I'm gonna kill stream for now. I might head to church. I might not. Yeah, there are bears. There's tons of black bears, and the thing is, they will come around over here if you have food. If you have food, they will come around 100%. But yeah, Naked and Afraid is a great show. One of my favorite. The show is the psychology of people who are exactly. That's exactly what it is. And they're all people that are searching and looking for something. But the reality is that they were really looking for, God the whole time. It's God that provides. He's the ultimate provider. But yeah, love you all. Tina, big ups to Tina. Big ups to Josh. Check out Josh's channel. @Lines on the Path. He's awesome, He does really great stuff. Please go and check out his channel. I love you all, and stay blessed, guys, okay? Take it easy. I'm going to